Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On-Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on-demand care for common ailments, such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org.
Start the new year with a commitment to independent journalism. When you become a supporter of Boise State Public Radio, you ensure deeper reporting, stronger investigations, and the trusted coverage you rely on every day.
I became a sustaining member today when I realized I start every day with Boise State Public Radio.
Your gift keeps fact-based news available to everyone in our region. Begin the new year by becoming a donor at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Gemma Gaudette. You're listening to Idaho Matters. More people are relying on AI for mental health support, but chatbots aren't real people, and counselors are sounding the alarm that this may be causing more harm than good. Even the Idaho Crisis and Suicide Hotline has been running into some unique challenges lately, thanks to the increasing popularity of artificial intelligence. Katie Kloppenberg is our digital content coordinator, and she's been exploring this topic, and she's joining us now to talk more about this. Katie, it's always nice to have you on the show.
Always happy to be here, Gemma.
Okay, Katie, let's just start with the basics with AI. Why are people turning to chatbots when it comes to their mental health?
So there are a lot of reasons why people are doing this, but I think the main one that we can talk about is the accessibility and the convenience aspects of it. They are available 24/7, they are free, and they're anonymous.
You actually talked with a researcher, Katie, who found that chatbots are actually really good at identifying emotions.
Yeah, so I talked with Dr. Colin Depp. He is a professor at the University of California, San Diego. And he did find that chatbots like ChatGPT, they can develop a shared understanding of what a person is feeling when they talk with them, which is a big reason why people really like them. And because of this, they're really good sounding boards as opposed to a person like a therapist that might lead to changing or treating an underlying condition, like a mental health condition.
Okay, so Katie, I can actually see the appeal of this, right? I mean, it's instant help. And Idaho, as we know, and we've talked a lot about this on this program, we have a shortage of mental health professionals. However, you found that this cannot replace real people. I mean, at least not yet.
That's something that Dr. Depp and I talked about kind of at length because he's from California. He was not aware of how rural Idaho is. So it is good for people who live in these rural areas. And Dr. Depp said that it's good to treat AI chatbots like you're writing in a journal or like writing letters to nobody in particular, treating them like that kind of outlet. And ChatGPT, AI bots like that, they're good practice before meeting with a therapist or another mental health professional to get somewhat comfortable with the idea of therapy or of working with a psychiatrist or just like literally anybody on your mental health.
And Dr. Depp also said that there actually might be a way to use AI, right, in the future to actually help people who are waiting for an appointment with a real person.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I just mentioned, they're good practice to practice with prior to meeting with like a real person about your mental health. We still don't really know what the future is going to look like whenever it comes to AI and it being like a viable alternative to in-person care. But Dr. Depp did say that he thinks that plenty of gaps in the mental health care system could benefit from something like ChatGPT just because it kind of gets people out of their head with it, like practicing is good. And he thinks that the accessibility in mental health care is one of the biggest things that AI could assist with.
And Katie, I want to talk about the fact that you did talk with some local folks too. You checked in with the Idaho Crisis and Suicide Hotline. So what are they hearing about AI and chatbots in this space?
Yeah, so I took some time to also talk with Lee Flynn. She is the director of the Idaho Crisis and Suicide Hotline. She said that they are getting increased reports of people who are relying on AI for crisis support and that there have been some bad outcomes and deaths linked to using AI nationwide, not necessarily in Idaho, but that's something that they are seeing and keeping an eye on. She also really wanted to stress that if you do call or text 988 and get to the Idaho Crisis and Suicide Hotline, you will always be connected with a real human. You will not be connected to a robot.
So Katie, the director of the hotline also told you that there's a concern that once you develop a relationship with a chatbot, maybe you don't always feel that you need to then turn to a real person to talk to.
Yeah, they are really seeing that. And she said that the crisis counselors that work at the hotline are worried that people who spend time developing those relationships may be a little less willing to seek out something like traditional therapy. And that's something that Dr. Depp also agreed with. But really, both of them hope that there will be ways to expand the ability of AI to have it be provided to those who are just waiting for appointments. So just have it be like a stopgap. If you have an appointment with a therapist in a couple of days, but you need to talk with someone now, the crisis hotline is there for that. But it also might be a place for AI chatbots to step in and assist.
Okay, so Katie, should AI be used more as a tool than a therapist?
That's exactly right. They are good for practice rounds with therapy, but the main thing that you do have to consider is they don't have the ability to express empathy or real emotions that you'll get from working with like a human. So while it's great to, like I said earlier, treat them like a journal, writing a letter to an imaginary friend, they're good to work out your emotions that way. But the work that you would do with a therapist and a human would be the way to go at the end of the day. So we're using it as a tool is the way that it should be used at this point in time.
Right. And so bottom line, Katie, I mean, I would think that, yes, there are, I mean, I think AI is not going away. And we do have to learn, I think, how to incorporate it into our lives. At the same time, understanding that in artificial intelligence, a chatbot cannot fully replace human interaction. I mean, there is a difference.
Exactly. And I see a therapist pretty regularly. So I actually signed on to ChatGPT's form of therapy before I went into a session and was just like, here's kind of my problems that I'm having right now. And it gave me really good ideas and tips and tricks. But whenever I went into my actual therapy appointment with my therapist, who I've been seeing for a really, really long time, she gave me advice and tips and tricks that actually challenged me, which is something that ChatGPT did not do. So she actually challenged me to open up the conversation with my brother, who was what we were talking about that day. Whereas ChatGPT was just like, maybe you shouldn't give him some space. Don't talk to him right away. So it was like more like talking to a friend, where it was just like, oh, it's like super agreeing with me and my problems. Whereas my therapist was like, no, that's not what you need to be doing.
So you might like the answers that ChatGPT is giving you.
But it's not necessarily going to help you solve issues. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so bottom line again, if folks are just tuning in, I mean, at least in present day time, there is a space maybe for AI to help with your mental health. It just cannot replace that human interaction.
Exactly. It's going to be that human interaction that really makes a difference in your life whenever it comes to mental health, whether that's working with a therapist, whether that's calling your local 988 hotline, talking to a friend even. It's a good stopgap, but it's never going to be able to replace the human empathy and connection that you'll get.
Well, Katie, such an interesting conversation and a take from therapists as well about this. We've been speaking with Katie Kloppenberg. She is our digital content creator. We've been discussing AI and Idaho's Crisis and Suicide Hotline. We will, of course, put some links to what she has found on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. And do remember, if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is always available 24/7. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline can be reached by phone or text. It's 988. You can also chat at 988lifeline.org. I'm Gemma Gaudette, and this is Idaho Matters.
Looking for another podcast to listen to? Check out The Nature of Idaho from our partner station KISU in Eastern Idaho. Join hosts Peter Pruitt and Dr. Leif Tapanilla as they share fascinating stories from the Gem State's great outdoors, celebrating Idaho's wildlife, landscape, and natural wonders. That's The Nature of Idaho from KISU. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.